Alright guys, what is up? Today I'm going to talk to you about my Fabled Quasar deck profile. So, as always, if you don't want to hear me talk for a couple of minutes, there's always going to be a YTK and a typed out deck profile in the description down below, but if you're here for the ride, let me explain some stuff to you. So let's get started. First off, we have our 3 Fabled Grimro. She's the Stardust for the deck. If you don't know her effect, if you have a Fabled on the field, discard her to search a Fabled from your deck. She's really good for tuning out the cards you need, and she combos quite nicely with our 2 of Fabled Krus and our 3 of Fabled Chawa. So, let's talk about these. So, Fabled Krus, she is the Monster Reborn for the deck. If she is discarded, you can target one Fabled monster in your graveyard who is level 4 or lower and special summon it. The reason why I run 2 of her is because she's really good and really powerful, but only if you know when you're going to get her. So she's only really good when you bring her back with like Monster Reincarnation or when you get her off of Fabled Grimro. You never really want to draw into Fabled Krus. And Chawa, he's the first of our cards who can discard, so his effect is, during your main phase, you can discard a Fabled to summon him. So he triggered his main use in the deck. The combo you're going to do a lot is have a Fabled on field, activate Fabled Grimro, pitch it, search either Krus or Chawa, use Chawa's effect, pitch Krus, summon himself, and then summon out Fabled Grimro. And what that play gets you is 5 levels on board, and anytime you're in Fableds and you get to make a level 5, you're a happy camper. You are a happy, happy camper. Because Fableds are extremely good at making level 5s and making level 2s, which is why they fall naturally into a Quasar deck. Alright, so there's those guys. Next up, we have 3 Budget Chawa. He's Nozooche. His effect is you can discard 1, special summon him. He also has a secondary effect where you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower Fabled card from your hand when he's special summoned. A lot of times that won't be relevant, but it'll save you sometimes. Next up, we have 3 Fabled Cerburrel. His effect is when he's discarded, special summon him. He's a level 2 tuner, so he's good for making stuff like Armory Arm and for use with Rescue Cat, which is why I bumped him up to 3. Just because you always kind of want to have a Cerburrel in your hand for discard fodder, which is why you got to run 3. And then we have 2 Fabled Lurrie. So a lot of the times the play you want to make is use Nozooche's effect while you have Cerburrel and Lurrie in hand. Use Nozooche, discard Cerburrel, summon him out. Cerburrel triggers in graveyard, Nozooche triggers on field, summons the Lurrie from hand. And boom, that's a level 5 synchro right there. And so that kind of shows you how Nozooche's effect can be pretty powerful in the deck. Lurrie, I don't think I mentioned it, but his effect is when he's discarded to the graveyard, special summon him. And also, if you see this in your hand, you know you already have Formula Synchron, so that's a very powerful play right there. Lurrie, you play 2 of him because, again, he's super good, but you never really want to draw into him. You kind of always want to have him off of the Where Art Thou search, or you kind of want to get him off of Grimro's search. You just never want Lurrie randomly appearing in your hand. That's just kind of a nuisance. Next up, we have the 2 bad Fableds, 1 Ganashia and 1 Kushano. These 2 are the Fableds you never want to draw ever. If you draw these guys, you're done. Ganashia, you want to bring him out using a card like Rescue Cat or get into your hand with Fabled Grimro in rare circumstances. And Kushano, you only want to see it in your hand if you have a card like 1 for 1. But they're cards that are extremely powerful to play if just for their own combos, which I'll talk about a little bit here. So Ganashia, of course, he has the combo with Rescue Cat, which I'll tell you when we get to Rescue Cat. Spoiler, I play Rescue Cat. But Fabled Kushano, you want to discard it using like a reincarnation or something like that. So you can use Nozooche and Krus, which, just looking at our levels of tuners and non-tuners, doesn't really get you anything normally. But if you have Krus, Nozooche in hand, and a Kushano in graveyard, you can discard Krus with Nozooche, then use Krus to summon out Kushano, and there's a level 5 synchro. So that's really why we run Krus. Also, late into your combo when you have like, a ton of cards in hand that you can't really trigger because you've gone through all your Chawas and you've gone through all your Nozooches. Kushano is kind of useful in that situation to trigger like a random Krus you can add back, so that's fine. Ganashia, I don't really like him because if you don't know his effect, it's the same as Cerburrel or Lurrie, but when he's sent to the graveyard after that, he banishes himself, so I'm not really a fan of that. Next up, for the 1 of monsters, we have Glow Up Bulb. No explanation really needed, it's just an extra tuner. It's really good in combination with Norden, and it can make some good plays. If you have 1 for 1 in Glow Up Bulb, just discard Glow Up Bulb, summon out Tuningware, then use Glow Up Bulb's effect to bring it back, and that's effectively Pot of Greed. Tuningware, if you don't know what he does, he can treat himself as a level 2 for a synchro summon, and when you use him for a synchro summon, you get an extra draw. So he turns Ragin from a draw 2 to a draw 3. He turns Formula Synchron from a draw 2 to a draw 4. And, I mean, from a draw 1 to a draw 2. When you combine him with Librarian, you get more draws. And when you combine him with Librarian and the Coral Dragon play, which I'll explain when I get to the extra deck, he can very quickly turn that into an 8-draw play. So, very good. And then next up we have Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat, I have a 10-minute video just talking about Rescue Cat, so I'll keep it short here and link that video down in the comments. I'll pin the comment. I know, jerk of me. Oh, pinning his own comments, you. But, Rescue Cat, the main play you want to do is summon out Rescue Cat, get rid of her instantly, and then summon out Ganashia and Cerburrel. Very obvious play, but very, very powerful play. Rescue Cat also has a lot of utility late game. If you draw her late, let's say your field's looking kind of broken, you have like this on field, and you're like, how am I supposed to make a play out of this? Normal summon normal summon Rescue Cat, send her to the graveyard, summon out Chawa and Ganashia. Chawa and Cerburrel, boom, guess what? You're able to make a level 5 synchro and a level 2 synchro. So yeah, of course, Rescue Cat just offers a lot of utility, and when I get spell cards, I'll explain why Ayers Rock Sunrise becomes a whole lot better with Rescue Cat. But yeah, Rescue Cat is definitely needed. I ran a few consistency tests with this. I went over it in the video, but she takes your deck from about a 20% Quasar rate to about a 30% Quasar rate. So that's a 10% consistency increase, and that wasn't even with an optimized build. This build is going to do a lot better consistency-wise. So that's a very good card. Now you may notice I'm not running Level Eater, but that's a lie. Level Eater is great, but I just had a lot of shiny cards, so the rare Level Eater didn't really work out there. Yeah, Level Eater, it's unglamorous, but it's broken, but it's stupidly broken. You just gotta run it. It enables the Coral Dragon play. It's just a free level all the time. It does a lot for synchro decks. Let's get into the spell cards here. First off, we have the 3-up Dark World Dealings. Dark World Dealings, very basic cards. It gets a card in your hand and it discards one, so it's good for triggering your Kushanos. It gets Level Eater out of your hand if you draw it, and it just digs through your deck. That's really all the explanation you need. Next up, we have 3 De-synchro, probably the second best card in this deck aside from Rescue Cat here. But what De-synchro does is it targets one synchro monster on the field and bounces it back to the extra deck, and if the materials are in your graveyard, you can special summon them. If you check out my rolling video, I have a few exceptions when De-synchro won't summon, but most of the time you'll be able to get more draws off of Librarian or more draws off of Formula Synchron with that, so that's good. If you made a synchro monster using Norden, and you use De-synchro, Norden gets his effect again, so there's really not any reason to play less than 3 De-synchro. You always, always, always want to see this card. Play 2 Monster Reincarnation. The main way I use Monster Reincarnation in this deck is to send something from my hand to the graveyard, then bounce a synchro monster back to the extra deck. Very rarely do I bounce stuff back to my hand. Do I get monsters back to my hand unless I'm trying to get more Krusses, because again, Krus, amazing card, great card, powerful card, but you want to control when you see her. So Reincarnation is good for just making sure you have what you need in your hand when you need it. And then next up, we have some of the most powerful cards in the game, the limited spell cards. We have Soul Charge, a card that's so stupidly broken. Only way you can make triple Quasar on this deck. It turns single Quasars into double Quasars and double Quasars into scoops. Next up, we have 1-for-1, just tutor something straight from the deck. It's effectively Pot of Greed if you have 1-for-1 and Glow Up Bulb in hand. Foolish Burial, insane card, just stupidly powerful. It sets up your graveyard. If you have Reincarnation, you just use Foolish Burial, send Rescue Cat, and then Reincarnation it back, and boom, you suddenly have Rescue Cat live. It enables stupid plays, and it just sets up Level Eater and Glow Up Bulb so perfectly. And Upstart Goblin. A 1-for-1 that gives your opponent 1,000 life points. I swear to God, I don't know why Konami limited Upstart Goblin. Whew. Anyways, let's move on to the 1-of spells. We got Double Summon, because sometimes you need to normal summon out Rescue Cat. Well, most of the time you want to normal summon Rescue Cat. So Double Summon's there to get you covered, get you 1 extra normal summon. Then we got Where Art Thou? Pretty standard card. If you have a level 1, add a level 1 to your hand. A lot of the times you'll have something like Ganashia. I'm just doing an example here. Ganashia, Level Eater, and this on the hand. Something like this. So in this case you can activate Where Art Thou, search Level Eater to your hand, synchro summon these into Coral Dragon. Discard something, pop something, you can go into the Coral Dragon play. So 1-for-1, it's useful sometimes. A lot of the times you're just going to use it to search Chawa, though, when you have a Level Eater on the field. But yeah, it's good to have it. It inflicts 2,000 damage to you in your end phase, though, so just watch out for that. Make sure you don't kill yourself with Where Art Thou. I do that all the time. Next up is a new card in the deck. I added Magical Stone Excavation. This lets you discard 2 cards and then add 1 spell card from your graveyard to your hand. So the main use for that is just really super duper late combo when you've got like 2 Quasars on the field and you have like 8 billion cards in hand from Librarian, but you have no way to get more cards to get down to that soul charge. Just discard 2, add back like an upstart or a De-synchro. It's just a 4th copy of De-synchro or a 3rd copy of Monster Reincarnation. It's a very versatile card, but you never want to see it early game, which is why you play 1 of it. 1 instant fusion, 1 monster slot. So monster slots, it's kind of the odd duckling. It's the 1 card I've added to Fabled uniquely throughout the years. But this card is, if you have a monster on the field that has a level, target it, banish 1 monster with the same level from your graveyard, then draw 1 card, reveal it. If it's also that level, so if you have like a level 1, you banish a level 1, then you draw a level 1, you can special summon it, which is useful sometimes, but not really all the time. The pro plays, after you've done the Coral Dragon play, target the Charge Warrior, banish Coral Dragon, and draw 1, because you're never going to recur a Coral Dragon. So it's just a free draw. If a good card comes out, this will be the first card I cut, but as it stands, it's just filler, because I really hate Into the Void. I might make a video on why I hate Into the Void one day. And then Ayers Rock Sunrise. If you watch the Rescue Cat video, you know why I love Ayers Rock Sunrise, but it just completes level 5s. So let's say you have a level 4 on field, guess what? Use Ayers Rock Sunrise, bring back a level 1 beast, boom. Ayers Rock Sunrise is a monster reborn for beast. Let's say you have a level 3 on board, Ayers Rock Sunrise, bring in a level 2, bam, guess what? You have a level 5 on board. So Ayers Rock Sunrise, its main use is going to be for bringing back beasts. If you Foolish Burial your Rescue Cat, you can just use Ayers Rock Sunrise to bring it back, because Ayers Rock Sunrise, for some reason, does not negate effects. If this card was more than once per turn, I'd run 2 of it, but unfortunately, it's a hard once per turn. So yeah, that's all for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Now, let's move on, boys. Alright, so first off we have Norden. This card really does not need any explanation. Like, whew, I can't even explain how good this card is. If you're playing a synchro deck, you're playing Norden. That's just a fact of life right here. Now, before I go further in the extra deck, I want to add one caveat. Fabled is a synchro toolbox deck. I am not going to sit here and tell you there's one correct way to play Fabled, because this main deck is just basically a draw engine to get you to your extra deck. So if you see something in this extra deck you don't agree with, you think, man, I should really be playing like Ancient Sacred Wyvern, or like, I should throw a Trish in there, go for it. This is just the way that I've found to be the most consistent to make triple Quasars. If you want to build the deck to do something else, feel free to edit the extra deck. It's just, as long as it fits in 15 and you have Norden, you can go far. Next up we have 3 Formula Synchrons. Now, a kind of awkward story. This is why you always go shopping with a shopping list. I ended up buying 5 Quasars, so I have 2 extra Quasars, but I didn't buy any Formula Synchrons. It kind of screwed me over when I was buying this deck, but I mean, I'm waiting for my final Formula Synchron to come in the mail. I wanted to get this deck profile out to you guys, so Tatsunoku's acting as a stand-in. Poor little Tatsunoku. I wish he were good. Next up, we have Mistborn Clausolas. So Mistborn Clausolas, he's a level 3, so he's good for synchro climbing. Let's say you have, this isn't too uncommon of a situation, 2 Cerburrels on the field and a level 1. It's not the most common situation, but it's a situation you can run into. Say you have something like that. Normally your play to be dead, but if you sync these 2 up into Mistborn Clausolas, you can sync these 2 up into Ragin, which, you know, is a super good play, because Ragin is a super good monster. Also, he has a really good effect where you can target one monster your opponent controls and negate its effects and make its attack 0. So he is the deck's out to high attack monsters or battle immune monsters. So if your opponent's trying to sit on a Fright for a Sabertooth, just negate its effects and attack over it. They're trying to sit on a Chaos Max, negate its effects and attack over it. So if they have someone with more than 4,500 attack, negate its effects and attack over it. It's just super good. It takes care of any card left in the game that can still be targeted. Next up, we have Armory Arm. Again, he's for synchro climbing purposes. Let's say you have something like a Chawa, a Cerburrel, and a Nozooche, which is a lot more common than the last example I gave you. Synchro summon these 2 up into Armory Arm. Synchro summon these 2 up into Ragin. Super easy play. It's just for synchro laddering. Also, we can get Quasar up to 5,000 attack, which is super nice. And if you equip it to Stardust Charge Warrior here, you have a 3,000 attack monster who can attack every special summon monster your opponent controls, and when it destroys a monster by battle, you inflict damage equal to your opponent's life points equal to its attack. So Very good combo to do, but you don't use that ever. Also, if you're on low on field space, let's say you have three synchro monsters on field and 2 zones free, just make Armory Arm, equip it to a synchro monster, you have 2 more zones free. So it's pretty good in that regard too. That's the way I use it most often, to be honest. Next up, we have the level 5s. We have 3 Ragin, 1 Librarian. Librarian, super standard. Whenever you synchro summon, draw a card, you don't even question playing her. But Ragin, I'm iffy on 3 Ragins. I like it, but with 2 monster reincarnations in the deck now, I have more than enough ways to put him back into the extra deck, so I might take 1 out because there's a lot of stuff I want to put in this extra deck, and I feel like 3 Ragins is kind of taking up space. But every time I take 3 out, every time I take 1 out, I feel like I need I need him. So that's kind of iffy. I'll show you what to replace him with in a little bit when I get into the level 6s, which we're doing right now. So haha, look at that! Aren't I just thinking ahead? So for the level 6s, we have Coral Dragon and Stardust Charge Warrior. So Coral Dragon, level 6 tuner. Her effect is you can discard to pop 1, but more importantly, when she's sent to the graveyard after she was synchro summoned, you get to draw a card. And Stardust Charge Warrior's effect is when it's summoned, you get to draw a card. So the play that everyone and their mother thought of the second this card was released was... Where to put that level leader? Hold up, boys. If you have a level leader in hand, get in the graveyard somehow. Make Coral Dragon, level leader down to level 5, sync these 2 up into Stardust Charge Warrior, and then Coral Dragon activates and Charge Warrior activates, giving you 2 draws. Now if you want to get a bit more advanced, if you have Hyper Librarian, 1 draw for bringing this out, 1 draw for bringing this out, 1 draw off of his effect, 1 draw off of his effect, 1 draw for her effect, for 4 draws total. If you want to get even more advanced, make Armory Arm level Formula Synchron first, and you can see where this is going. You can get this play up to potentially 8 or 9 draws. So Coral Dragon, very powerful card. Now, you'd be like, wait a second, if those are the only 2 level 6s you have, then you aren't playing Bryonic. That's sacrilege. Surely Fableds need Bryonic. I mean, they used to play it all the time. However, sadly, it's not pre-errata Bryonic. Bryonic is garbage now. In a build that's trying to make triple Quasar, if you add Bryonic into the deck, you need to add in a second Coral Dragon, just so the Coral Dragon play still works. So you have Coral Dragon with Librarian on the field. You get Lovely in the graveyard, Lovely that down, Synchro Summon into a Coral Dragon. You get 1 draw from this, 1 draw from this, 1 draw from this. Wait, sorry. So you make Coral Dragon, draw 1, Lovely this down to a level 5. Make this, you get 2 draws there, and then you Lovely this down into this, you get another draw, so you still get the 3 draws, but you get 1 more Coral Dragon in graveyard. I call it the extended Coral Dragon play, but Bryonic really has no playability first turn, which is when you're going to be making your triple Quasar if you want to try and win with this deck. So that's really what you want to focus on. So that's why I elected to not run Bryonic. But if you want to play Bryonic, just take out a Ragin, add in a second Coral Dragon. Pretty easy stuff right there. And then next up, we have the big boys. We got 2 Quasar, 1 blazar. I elected to play 2 Quasar, 1 blazar as my spread because I want to make this deck kind of competitive for you guys. So if you see your plays going kind of tits up and you have no clue what to do, just abort and make a blazar, which is why he's there. But if you can go ham, you can make this field. And the reason this field is better than triple Quasar is if your opponent makes Utopia the Lightning, you just negate the summon, whereas otherwise you're just going to lose a Quasar, so... I mean, that's kind of good. I still say 3 Quasar is the best field, but because it's the most aesthetically pleasing, but hey, I mean, Blazar is pretty good. Under no situation would I say you can run a Cypher in this deck, just because Cypher is ass. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see the deck in action, I've got tons of videos of it up on my channel. I got 4 years of videos for you. But as for the deck discussion, it's a glass cannon deck. I always say that. Mega Capital G said that first, and he said it's the best. This deck will go off turn 1 or you will lose. Its win condition nowadays is just going first and making triple Quasar and hoping your opponent can't break it. And this is the build that most effectively gets you to that end. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys all had a wonderful time, and I hope you're all doing good. I hope you guys all have fun before Link format comes around and fucks us all over. So enjoy yourself before it happens.